Hey everyone, welcome back to American Affordability. As I'm recording this, I'm walking along the beach here, just south of Cocoa Beach in Florida. Weather's beautiful. Ocean isn't really calm, but there's families out enjoying the beach, people fishing, people surfing, people simply spending time with the people they care about. And it got me thinking about something. A few months ago, I visited Miami Beach, about 160 miles down the shoreline here. First time I'd ever visited there. Now, I'd seen the pictures, I'd seen the videos, I'd heard about, people talk about it for years, but seeing it in person was different. Everywhere you look there's Lamborghinis, there's Ferraris, mega yachts, luxury condos, waterfront mansions, designer stores. I mean, really just lifestyles that most people can barely imagine. And I'll be honest, it's impressive, it's exciting, it's motivating too, really. And standing there, it's hard to not look around and think, wow. But after a couple days, I started asking myself a different question. What happens when this becomes your definition of success? Because if success means owning a Lamborghini, a mansion on the water, and $100 million yacht, then almost everyone on earth is going to feel like a failure. And I think that's exactly what's happening to a lot of people today. Not because they're actually failing, but because they're measuring themselves against standards that almost nobody reaches. So today I want to talk about success, not influencer success, not social media success. A little bit of irony there since we're here on YouTube, but you get the point. Not the version either of success that's designed to get likes and views. I want to talk about real success because I think a lot of people are doing much better than they realize. One of the biggest challenges and changes over the past 20 years isn't inflation or housing, it's technology. What it is it's comparison. When I graduated high school in 2006, successful people, and they certainly existed, but they weren't sitting in my pocket 24 hours a day. I mean, you might see a celebrity on television, or you might read about a wealthy entrepreneur in a magazine. I mean, you might even occasionally see somebody driving in a supercar or something, and that was about it. Today, I mean, literally within minutes of waking up, you can scroll through social media and see luxury homes, exotic vacations, private jets, six-figure watches, fitness influencers, successful entrepreneurs. I mean, many people that are claiming to make more money in 1 month than most Americans make in a year. And whether we realize it or not, that changes how we think. Eventually, we stop seeing these lifestyles as extraordinary. We start seeing them as normal. And that's a problem. The issue isn't that successful people exist in our world. The issue is that we're constantly shown the reward while rarely seeing the process. We see the mansion. We don't see the 20 years of work. We see the successful business. We don't see the years when nobody believed in that business. We see fitness transformation, but we don't see the thousands of workouts. We get to see the luxury lifestyle, but we don't get to see the failures or the setbacks or the sacrifices, the debt, the stress, and sometimes even the luck that played a role. We're comparing our everyday lives to someone else's highlight reel. And if you do that long enough, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind. I think one of the biggest lies modern culture tells us is that success should happen quickly, and it shouldn't. Most meaningful success happens slowly. Careers are built slowly. Strong marriages are built slowly. Trust is built slowly. Successful businesses tend to be built slowly. Retirement accounts, investments, those are built, those gain interest slowly. Health is built slowly, and your character tends to be built slowly. Almost everything worth having takes longer than we'd like, and that's where delayed gratification comes in. Nobody wants to hear that phrase anymore because it is not exciting. Delayed gratification, it doesn't go viral. Nobody gets millions of views by saying, hey, show up consistently for 10 years or 20 years. But that's how most successful people got where they are. Is there an exception? Are there exceptions? Absolutely, right? But now let me give you a personal example. Back in 2006, I graduated high school, joined the Air Force, and at the time I wasn't thinking about retirement. And I wasn't thinking, as that young 18-year-old, about pension benefits down the road. I wasn't thinking about where I'd be 20 or more years later. I was simply just making a decision that I hoped would create opportunities in the future. The rewards did not show up overnight. There were long days and frustrating days and uncertain days. And over the years, like so many people, I earned my bachelor's degree, went on to earn an MBA. I gained experience. I developed skills, built relationships. I created opportunities. It's a big one, right? Creating opportunities. Now, almost 20 years later, some of those decisions are paying off. But that's the point. The payoff came years after the effort. And the military is just one example. The same principle applies to learning a trade, or starting a business, or building a career, getting healthy, or paying off debt, or investing, or developing a skill. Most rewards in life, they operate on a delay, delayed gratification, right? So the challenge is that we now live in a culture that wants everything immediately. At the same time, I don't want to pretend that life is simple because we all know it is not. I mean, just for me, I've had cancer, I've gone through a divorce, I've dealt with numerous health issues. I mean, even recently, I've been dealing with foot problems that have limited some of the activities that I usually enjoy. And like everyone else, I've had setbacks, I've had disappointments, I've had periods where I wasn't sure what was coming next. The reason I'm sharing that is not because I want sympathy. It's because success is not a straight line. Social media often makes it look like successful people move from one victory to the next without ever struggling. Real life doesn't work that way. Everyone's carrying something. The person you envy may be fighting battles you know nothing about. The person driving the nice car may have problems you wouldn't trade for. The person living in the big house may be deeply unhappy. The person who's on social media posting perfect family pictures, they might be going through challenges behind closed doors. We simply don't know. That's why comparison is such a dangerous game, especially in our modern culture. We're comparing our behind the scenes footage to someone else's carefully edited highlight reel. And we do it every single day, which brings me to something I think we've gotten wrong. I don't believe success is just about money. Don't get me wrong, money matters, right? Financial stability, that matters. Being able to support yourself and your family matters. But if money were the only measure of success, every wealthy person would be happy. And we know that is not true. When I think about success, I think about several different areas of life. Like I've already touched on, physical health, mental health, those are built with habits, right? Your relationships, friendships, your family, your career, your finances, your personal growth, your sense of purpose. Because if one area is thriving while all the others are falling apart, are you really successful? That's a question worth asking. I think many people are chasing a version of success that looks impressive from the outside, but feels empty on the inside. What if success isn't becoming rich enough to impress strangers? Or what if success really means building a life that you genuinely enjoy living? Or what if success is having people you love and who love you back? Or what if it's having meaningful work that you love doing? Or what if success is having the freedom to spend time with people who matter? You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't have time, it doesn't matter. Or even if, what if success is just simply waking up most mornings feeling grateful for the life that you built? That is not the kind of success social media promotes, but it might be the kind that actually matters. As I finish this walk, I keep coming back to the same thought. 20 years ago, if someone had shown me my life today, I probably would have been pretty excited. Not because of money, not because of status, but because of the experiences I've had, the lessons I've learned, the people I've met, the places I've traveled, and the opportunities I've been given. My life has not been perfect, far from it. But standing here today, listening to the waves, looking out at the ocean, I'm reminded that success is not about having the most impressive life. It's about building a life that you're grateful to wake up to. The world is difficult. Life is complicated. None of us have it completely figured out. But you're probably more in control over your future than what you think. You can control your habits. You can control what skills you develop. You can control how you spend your time. You can control who you surround yourself with. And you can control whether you keep moving forward. Those small decisions compound over time, and often they compound quickly. Sometimes, though, they compound quietly. Sometimes you don't notice them at first, but maybe 5 or 10 or 20 years later, they can completely change the trajectory of your life. So if you've been feeling behind, maybe take a step back and ask yourself a simple question. Am I measuring my life against reality, or am I measuring it against an illusion? Because most of us are never going to own a mansion in Miami Beach. Most of us are never going to drive a Lamborghini. And most of us are never going to own a $100 million yacht. And that's okay. Those things were never supposed to be the standard for a successful life. The real question is whether you're building a life that aligns with your own values. A life filled with purpose, with growth, meaningful relationships, good memories, and things that actually matter. So if you're willing to stop comparing yourself to everyone else, focus on what matters most, and commit to playing the long game, you may be much closer to success than you realize. And you may already be more successful than you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.